Hey there, friends and family. This is Joy with Joy the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. What energies are those? It is this blue moon. We will be talking about not just Halloween, because what is unique, they're already telling me has already rolled into All Saints Day. Saints Day has to do with that purity, that being able to see yourself clearly. We've been talking about the channel when our sun and our moon align and all projection falls away, not just are projecting onto others, but others projecting onto us. It like clears it away. You graduate from university and you get to step in for team life. That is right. Hey, if you're new to this channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure you click the subscribe button down below. It is free as always. And if you'd like to be notified when I post new videos, ring that little bell out beside it and they will let you know. Now, let me tell you, I think I need to clear my throat. We are in for something good because this is enormous. That's just it. There are energies all around us. And the thing that we need to wake up and realize, the last time from the studying that I've done, the last time the blue moon occurred on Halloween was actually across all the time zones of the US. And if you're across the world, thank you for joining. Hey, we're spreading it right over to you too. Okay, friend? But across the US was 1944, okay? And the next time that is going to happen again is 2039. And that's something. But bigger than that, it's really looking at the scope and the energy of this moon and what it's affording us. When I went into my meditation time to focus on what all is wanting to be said, because it is a big move, a big thrust. It is the opening. It is like the essential preview of what's to come in the era of air. So that's why there's a big scope, a big measure. Everything has already come out. I haven't even look, y'all. This is what we get to go through together. They're like, I said, I don't even. And this, I'm like, whatever. So we're going to walk through this together. I don't even know. I haven't looked. I haven't paid attention. But I know it's massive. And they're talking about what had happened previously in the prior moon. 1944 was the ebb. It was the drawing back. It was the pulling in like water. It goes out and then it comes back in. Well, this is the coming in. This is the returning. This is the flow. So when the moon comes and it moves on through, which they said now is the time right now. And if you don't land on Halloween for this, baby, you hearing it and you receiving it right now in your heart. That's right. You're tuning in and it is tuning into you. So I went for a bike ride to watch the sunset, and it produced a red sunset. Talk about power and majesty. And then just across on the other side of the bridge was the full moon rising up, and it was goldenness. It was what we've been talking about. I mean, it is very much like this. It's like the sun and the moon aligning and coming together at the same time, and it's positioned right there with Mars. Now, the irony with that, and the joy of getting to read this for you guys, is my moon and my Mars are less than 1 degree apart in the sign of Taurus. The sign of pleasure. That's right. The sign of fun, of being able to take it slow, to move at a pace that is enjoyable, whatever that is for you. Okay. Whatever that is for you. It doesn't have to get into the stuck energies of what people say about Taurus. You know, we could all get messed up if we get stuck in energies of what people want to say is low vibration about us, like dragging us down and whatever else. You know what? They're assets. They can be leveraged in the mindset of our eye when we look at them with a way of a good heart, a cheerful heart of like, well, that works this way for me and that affords me this opportunity. Then we begin to celebrate and exalt them. Okay. So this was piggybacking out of the Fiery Freaky Friday reading, and it was talking about, you know, being able to embrace it and allow the energy of life to step in for you. And they were talking about the seed being water. I was gobsmacked. I mean, I was dumbfounded. I was just, I don't know how my lips kept moving because I just wanted to stop and absorb. So I went back and I listened to it, of course. But what seems to be coming in, the big scope, is there's a change, and not just, you know, the world can change around us and we won't change. That's the difference here. They're talking about us loading into this ride, loading into this attitude and embracing it and going into it with enthusiasm, with expectancy, you know, with that innocent child of a heart, like the wide-eyed, you know, and bushy-tailed, that type of energy. But this is where we're going to start, all right? These are coming in like this because it is incoming, and that's what's crazy about this big mass that's sitting over here. My deck is turned correctly, y'all. And it's all this incoming energy. And they're like, the peace is bringing in a change. But they're like, we're also going to turn it where the change is bringing in peace. So it's not just what the planets are affording us, it's what we're affording the planets. It has become this synergy of life where we begin to understand what is looking down on us, what is joining in with us, what is facilitating through us. Life loves us. Life loves you. I love you. I'm glad you're here. So here we're going to step into the first card because these are about you, okay? The person who's sitting here viewing this, they'll be about me when I sit on the other side of the lens and view it myself. So we'll start with number one. This is quite interesting because a couple of weeks back, I started with a massive deck, and this has mind, body, and soul in here, 3 different oracle decks. So what we're dealing with is some solar energy, some keys going on. And it's Avenois, make peace with your past. Isn't that interesting? I told you I haven't looked at these. I'm like, I just do that blank stare, looking across it. And they were already talking about peace. This moon is affording us the peace of this transition, of being able to leave things up behind, to just walk away, to be able to move on out of the bondage of debt mindsets, guilt mindsets, worry mindsets, obligation mindsets, those type of things. Because it's really, you're showing me here talking about renewing the mind. This is like the droplet of the mind. It's like the orb in the center of the mind of our perceiver, because when the sun and the moon have aligned and the projector is gone, now the perceiver steps in. Whoa. Okay. Rewind. The perceiver steps in. Make peace with your past. And this is the goldness of our life. It is the treasure inside of you. It is what you bore, why you came here. You guarded these stars and these seeds into your belly, and you delivered them onto this planet. And it's taking that wildness, that awakening, that shaking the dreams from your hair to startle you awake, to jumpstart and catalyze this whole new adventure that you're stepping in on. You know, a lot of times when we're younger, just through different things that we have to go through, schooling, you know, rules and laws and regulations of society, that type of thing, we can like pull ourselves in and lose that spark of adventure. We may still be adventurous, but somehow that air, it can be tempered, it can be tamed a bit, but you're wanting to awaken like the raw power. You're like, this is like a honey factory going on in here. I almost see bees like coming out from the side, ready to pollinate, like the sweet nectar of life abounding in you. Can you imagine that satisfaction in your belly? I want you to imagine it right now. I want you to imagine that life is for you. I'm for you. We're here to bring forward your success and celebrate that, and to celebrate you, not just what you do, but who you are. I want you to feel satisfied. I want you to feel fulfilled. I want you to feel peaceful when you go to bed at night. I want you to be able to be in yourself, experiencing your perspective of this life in this world, and being able to see others clearly and have connections, not to have the bondage and the karma and those type of things going on. Yes, you can clear karma. Okay, when you graduate from Life University and you get to walk into life itself, that's what they're telling me. But this is being able to make peace. This is with your past. This is with the things that are done, the consequences, the things that have happened, because it's talking about this ripple, this perpetuation of it. It just keeps this active and alive. And it's almost like this is an escape hatch, almost like, like an escape button, like an eject button, like thinking, if it ever gets to be too much, or if I fail too much, this is my escape hatch. This is where I escape. This is where I pull away from. Well, that's like in opposition to the satisfaction. It's like a displacement. So being able to make peace with this, to let it go, to walk away, and to walk forward in what is inherently you, innately you, contained in you, and to be lit up by that satisfaction. Watch as life draws to you. Watch as the force of life begins to move through you. And when life establishes you, there is no turning back, my friend. Okay, so the next card we have is number 18. We're evolving into the connection here, into the movement with life and how to navigate it. And this one's called Mosaic. Let chance play its creative role in your life. Do you know you're a creator? You are. Whatever form, doesn't have to be a paintbrush, doesn't have to be a chef's knife in the kitchen. It can just be you engaging and watching and observing the beauty of life. I mean, I have a friend, she loves taking pictures of birds. That sparks her creativity. That gets her honey pump going on down inside, getting that honey pump. Like Pooh Bear, got that honey pot going on. Well, this is the thing that begins to warm you and to awaken you, and it becomes your mantle, like your hallmark, the very thing that you embrace about yourself. And it starts to move the world around you, and it starts to show you like the directives, the details, the moving forward. And it's not always about making a career of it, but it's seeing how it all comes together. Knowing that those are the certain things that set you up for other opportunities. Like I love to go bike ride because when I sit for a bit, I have to go move. I never know who I'm going to bump into, or even, other observers who watch and see it happen. They think, "Oh, I remember when I used to have fun like that." And then it spreads like wildfire. We don't know. We don't know, but those are creative forces. That is life having a creative role through me, because I'm not in charge of it. All I know is it brings me satisfaction. It cuts on that honey pump, that little Pooh Bear up in my belly, satisfying that rumbly in my tumbly. And now here underneath, y'all, I am in love. I swoon over this card. I can't believe I hadn't had the deck out in a while. But more than his number 57, this is the Time Master. He takes my breath away. There aren't words to convey what he can do. Wanting us to be creative with our time, to realize that we can bend time, we can master time, we can maneuver time. Because one thing people are trying to do is make more time, or figure out how to handle their time, or how do I handle my time well enough that I can do the things I have to do to get to the things I love. And they're like, start with the love and you'll find time for everything else. And that doesn't mean put off work. It's coming to like dislodge that old formula, that old mindset, because this is Daddy Saturn. This is going on, and I'm a Capricorn sun. So it's normal to me, but it has a wildness to him that we didn't know about. And we still have an amazing connection going on that Saturn and Jupiter are going to have a little kiss in a little bit, which they already are, holding hands up in the sky. And I love to see it out there. It's so satisfying and nurturing to my heart because they come together in union. They are actually complementary to one another. We don't have to listen to the fray and to the noise. We can begin to see and believe that things are working together. Y'all, sorry, crazy. I've been biking, like I said, and that whipping wind, like 19 miles an hour, y'all. It was wild. Not my speed. That was the wind. But, being able to bend that time, being able to take what we've learned in our spiritual reflection, or the lessons we had to learn, some of those difficult things that we have been through these last 20 years of the earth, because it has been the separating and the shaking and the sifting, and being able to remove it and to pull it apart, right? Because this was taking the space. Look, things had to be cleared out for you to see that you're worthy and valuable, that your peace makes room for your passion, and your passion makes room for your peace. Because remember, they're going to do a little turn a little bit later, like that Wheel of Fortune is going to turn, and it's going to afford you the opportunity to see and know that you're magnificent, fine, and divine. So tell me, get run, enjoy, get run. I'm like, oh gosh, where's my seatbelt? So next we have coming in another number 1, but this is coming in your mind. All right, it's how you see yourself, the dark moon, the void. The void. This is like an eclipse for a moment, but that's how a picture is taken. The shutter has to close. Okay? That's how a record is made. That's how a memory is made. All right? So they're wanting you to like unplug for a moment, to lay down at night, to allow the depths to rise up into their place, like the stone to move into its setting, to move into its place in this world. But remember, it was in this opening. Yes, there's something behind it. That's why, y'all, it was all stuck and I couldn't see a thing till I picked it up. But that's making space for the things that you adore, that fuel your fire, that make you rich. Rich or wealthy. I mean, it has to do with that thing that you wake up and hit the ground running in the morning, that you're excited about, that you're energized and pumped about. Like it is a food source for your soul. So that's what we're talking about here. Making room in your soul. And they said your soil. Remember the seed? Wet, juicy, delicious, unctuous. When the soul gets wet, that's when things sprout and grow. And what is going to grow? Well, back behind it is 9. Talk about a full cycle. Moving completely through. So this is what you've moved through. Okay? Assessing. Rising up. rising up in that power, that connection, that you were born for more than this. You were born for more than the doings and goings of what life has really been reduced to and pigeonholed over time. Like this accomplishment-based thing. And I'm telling you, there's nothing wrong with that. I got awards, I got things like that, but whatever. If you got all that hanging on the wall, but inside you dead, inside you got like buzzards and vultures and all that going on. No, we want honeybees, we want hummingbirds, we want butterflies, we want chirping, we want honeypots, we want all that good, juicy, unctuous, delicious stuff going on inside of us. And look, she starts to crank up and shine right here. That gleam coming off. This is the surface of your mind. I know it's up under your skirt. Just saying. Back in the day, men and women used to wear robes, skirts, whatever. Says all that. It's all that freedom up under there is what we're talking about, okay? Because remember, in the beginning, this is what's coming in. And the change is going to produce your peace, okay? And that peace produces the place for your honeypot, for your pleasure to come on in, for this confidence. This is like, look, that's like your dowel rod, like your GPS. This is the ground under your feet. Everywhere you go is fine like wine. Everywhere you go, your star abundant self goes. Everywhere you go, you see as an opportunity. You see his beauty and you're like, oh, let me take a little closer look here. Let me get into the details of what makes this amazing for me. Like, it's like if there's something you don't like but needs to be accomplished, you can think to yourself, because remember, that's over here. It's going from this barrenness and have to and got to and cut off into the unctuousness of having this synergy of life. And so you go, well, all right, how can I do it that it does make it pleasurable for me? How could I do it that it begins to wake me up? What do I have inside me that I could bring to the table on this thing? That I can turn it around and I can bring in this change, that I can change my mind about it. And that in lies and suppression is cooking stuff up with the stars. And the stars are our ideas. The stars are the qualities and the essence of who we are. All right. And that's when you know that you're being called to stay or to push through or to whatever. Okay. Now, underneath this is the luminous warrior, number 32. This is about that sun and that moon aligning. This is about you getting in the center of your chart. You hear me talk about, if you've been here before. If not, check out any of the signs, because we are the whole zodiac. When you ever read your birth chart, it comes like a whole pie, right? And the thing is, that is like an instrument, and that is you. You are the beautiful music that's coming forth from that. So it's getting to know the assets and the things afforded to us, the beneficial quirks and zings and buzzers and workings of the inner chambers afforded us, so we can come into this. Luminous warrior. Be radiant, be shining, be fine, you know? And that draws people around you. Remember, like the honeybees, the pollinators, people who come along, and they don't just fluff and tell you what you want to hear. They tell you the truth, and not that harsh criticism, whatever. It's like bringing you along and saying, good job. Thanks for being here. Or like, in my heart, I've dreamt of you since before you were born. I don't know if you know that. Like, I can remember being 1 and 2 years old, dreaming of a family, dreaming of this world that is beautiful and all people love each other, where all people care for each other. I remember once I saw, y'all don't hate, but I saw Wizard of Oz, and I saw it on TV at home. And don't judge at my age, but some TVs were still black and white, and they often played black and white movies. So when it started out black and white, I didn't think the first thing about it. But I remember she was at his trailer, and they went to commercial break, and when they came back, next thing you know, it's going into color. And I mean, I lost it like this water, like that water being the seed of life. I was like, oh, I was just gobsmacked. I was stunned right there. And that was the moment I decided I want to color my world. I wanted my world to be the whole world, and not just the way I see it, you know, XYZ, that type of thing. That's through my eyes, right? But I'm talking about through the lens of the heart. I'm talking about the key of life, this goldenest thing that we're all made to be amazing. We're all made to shine, that this world gets happy and it gets lighter and it gets better and brighter as each one of us is like this. Satisfied and fulfilled and happy and goldness and at peace. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so I'm going to run through this. These are kind of bop, bop, bop because I don't know what they're going to say. But I do know that this is called the hunter's moon, okay? Because when there is a blue moon, it follows the harvest moon. They said it's called the hunter's moon. So I actually went and dug this card out. They told me to go find the hunter. And I'm like, why is that? Because I had shuffled the deck and gotten it ready. So I'm having to, you know, filter through and look particularly for this card. And I had to come almost through the entire deck to the very end, which was actually the top. I know, maybe I should start from that side, but I was just flipping and going, whatever. And what it has to do is it's the opening of a story. It's an opening of a sentence. It is like the subject going on here. They're talking about making a turn, okay? We're making a turn. The world is making a turn. The Ursa Major is speaking here. So get ready for a return. They're talking about get ready for a return because of the Big Dipper, all right? So when it's like this, you fill it up, you fill it up, you fill it up, you give and you give and you give to your dreams. Well, that's half the year. And, you know, it slowly starts turning and turning. Well, eventually it's going to be poured out and it's going to wash over you. Ooh, it is water, baby, with your fine stuff. Water your dreams. You be leveraging up. You'll be like, I know where I am. I know who I am. I know where I live. Okay. And so with that, these are the cards that are coming in behind it. And I took all the ones till they told me to stop. So I don't know what's here. So let's take a look. 33. It's the power of creative union. It's the power of creative union. And this is the key talking about him. How to bend time is to take things away from themselves and return to themselves. Oh, okay. The ebb, remember, takes away. What have you had taken away from you? That broke your heart, that like demolished you, that made you grumpy, made you down, made you a little like tough or hard. That's coming to return. And it's coming to return with like that youthful innocence. It's not going to be old and spoiled and ruined and dashed and, you know, like full of worms. Like if you left, I don't know, one time, y'all, I had some peach ice cream. And I don't know why I did it, but I stuck it up under, I only ate a little bit of it and I stuck it up under my bed. I guess so I wouldn't step on it in the morning because I didn't have the bedside table. Well, a month or so later, I was cleaning my room and I thought, is there anything under my bed? There was stuff growing that tall up on that thing. It ain't gonna look like that because your dreams don't spoil. Mars and the sun and the moon are all coming into this divine trinity to provide the power that you need to bring in. You're talking about I don't like saying weird word, but you talk about like a starship. But the vessel of the supplies, and this is almost like new faith, new hope, that type of a starship. Let's find out a little bit more about that. Let's find out a little bit more about that. Let me see if the next card speaks onto it. Where are you? Yeah. Okay. So they're talking about this sacrifice that you had made. This is how it's returning unto you. That you it's like losing the dreams, losing the hopes, going into the bereavement, going into the grief. I mean, it's like a death of a person, right? And you took a lot of time, but you healed. And when you came back from it, you stayed in the doorway. Oh. That's like the bear. Turn your back on it. What's he doing? What's he doing? Turn around. Okay. Turn around and see the juiciness of life. Turn around, which is the season that we're coming into because that's December. That's when November actually, that's when the oranges, satsumas, those type of juicy, delicious things come into ripeness. And it's harnessing us into the springtime. It's kicking up the dust. It's awakening ancient energy because now that you've moved on from this, the earth could rest. The earth could transition its energy to rise up in this new fertility. Y'all, I know I'm talking in code and mystery. I'm like, I keep wanting to hit stop. I keep wanting to finish. I'm like, what is all this that you are saying? But maybe it's as profound that I won't understand till I sit on the other side. It's not about me anyway. So then that brings forth this freedom. It's not about the sacrifice. They're talking about it did sacrifice. It did feel like your blood. It did feel like you were gutted. It did feel like your collarbones cracked, like your beautiful world became fractured, it became broken, it became desolate. And this barrenness of the soul, the loss of innocence, you know, that high heart, the dreamer, that thing of children, that magic that they carry, that ability to transcend their environment, to transcend their circumstances, and to hope beyond hope. But there's this resurrection power coming in with that. And it is to know the foundational truth that what you sacrificed was received as an offering. No longer requiring the bloodshed, the cutting off of, in order to give unto another. This is the offering, and the offering is to share. The offering is to invite. The offering is to draw near. Talking about coming together, because I'm watching as that's being said. This is a giant sphere. This is like our whole world. There's the, I forget what it's called, the water cycle. It's evaporation, precipitation, condensation. My younger son used to have to sing a song about it in school, and he loved it. It's all those things condensing and coming together. Look at it. The droplet of water is even wet on the surface. So we ain't just talking about water, baby. We talking about wet water. I never had no dry water. Maybe I have. I don't know. But wet water, then that makes you say, swing. Talk about swing. Talk about some Wayne's World. Talk about some stuff going on. We have got an amusing world coming in. Talk about your light, buddy. Look at this. See the light traveling through there? Shooting as you're open and free, because often we have to protect ourselves in these lower realms. Those are the realms of intimacy. It's where our treasury is. It's where filching and underhandedness and those type of things, you know, faulty trades, those type of things go on in that energy realm. But life is like, I've got you, I'm opening you here. When the sun and the moon align and there is no projection, there's also full protection, is what you're telling me here. There's the freedom to dance like this, to be open. This is your soul. This is your soul stepping into the power of Jupiter, and not just to, it's not just to have the opportunities. It's like going along with them, facilitating them, because this is talking about that creativity of life. The double threes, the double fours, coming into the order of the way things work and coming along, and like set in time masters over here. He's like, ooh. And when I hear his voice, that day is gonna come. And so am I. Okay, the giveaway number 23. Look at this. So this is the transference of that energy. When you begin to be set free and you celebrate that there's no more sacrifice, that it is who you are, and who you are is beautiful, relevant, a key of life. Your soul song is beautiful. Step on forward. Well, then that converts this to this. Okay, because this is what life and the planet saw all along. All right, this was your earthen experience, and it was difficult, but you did a great job making it beautiful, turning it into the divine, making the best out of some incredibly difficult situations. Don't sit there and pigeonhole yourself and nitpick yourself when you fell down, when you cursed it out, when you said things, and I don't know, I smashed some dishes like me, or yelled at the water. I don't even know what you did, but hey, it was rough. But this is all life could see. Life could see this. This was your soul song trying to stretch forward, trying to be able to reach that same knowing and feeling inside your body, that same experience that heaven could come down to earth, that life is possible for you, that life really does love us. And it's not meant to keep playing out in that desolation, in that sacrifice of one for another to thrive. You know, that life-death cycle, which yes, we know it's there, but I'm talking about life begets life. Life begets life. And they're wanting to look here. So we're going to start here. Here's the incoming energies, y'all. Whew. Let me get ready, because I told you I don't know how they all got flipped upside down. I'm like, oh, help me. Help me, because here's the incoming. Y'all get ready. Y'all get ready. Hang in there. Hang in there. Maybe do this in 3 parts. I don't know. But here we have the growth coming in. Ooh. Oh, it's coming in like this. It's rising up from the ground. That's why they were telling me this. They were telling me it had already converted, because, okay, October 31st is considered All Hallows Eve. And then November 1st is considered All Saints Day. It's when you put all the darkness and the other things behind you, or the difficulties behind you. You set aside the guilt, those other things, and you leave them behind. And you go, well, I learned. Okay, let's move on forward with this type of energy, right? not having to keep converting things and making the best out of them, right? Difficult things and making the best. You get to convert into this energy and you come out on November 1st like this. Well, they were telling me, they said, Joy, it's already begun. This is a special moon. It has already begun. And that's what's happening. It's rising up. So this is, if you imagine this is the world and this is outer space and the sun, the moon, all that, it just all out here. It had already begun. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, as the day turns into night and the night turns into day, 24-hour cycle is what we're talking about here. That's what they're talking about. It has already come. What has come? I don't know. I talk about growth. It's talk about the power of your hand, of this understanding of time, of realizing it's already here. Are you ready? Are you ready? What are we ready for? Epiphany, number 6. They're ready to reveal our gifts. They're ready to reveal our gifts because she's aligning. Look at that goldness, that new growth coming in from there, along with what's in your belly here. You imagine your mind and your instincts being aligned. Like a long time ago, they used to call about the old timers listening to their gut. Animals do. That's why a lot of them walk on all fours. Their bellies facing the earth and they're picking up these vibrations, this communication, this instinct, this understanding for their well-being, for their protection, kind of like what we were talking about here, for their celebration of life. All right, so let's keep going. So we move from the epiphany, the revealing of our gifts, the healing of the wound, the sealing of the deal, the wetting of the water. Some of you, that's a wedding, okay? And then it brings in the new moon, the beginnings, phase 2. How is that? It's about that dipper again. It's about Jupiter. Jupiter's been chattering for 2 or 3 days, talking about bringing in the luck, the opportunities, the divine connections, the being open to it, the providing the pathway out, that taking things that you keep having to walk away from, bridges that you keep having to burn, and breaking it apart, you know, from the 8 of Cups into the 5 and the 3, into the creative manifestation. That it's all how you frame it. It's, oh, that's all how you see it. Y'all, thank you for hanging in there. I guess they had to dig all the ingredients out before we started cooking the recipe. And I'm like, word, hey, I just want to hop off this plane. Not really. But that's when you begin to see it all coming together. You begin to see it all coming together. The fields of the harvest are ripe. That's why we've gone from the harvest to the hunter. The hunter is the one who goes and pursues life. This is your passionate pursuit here of these things that do bring pleasure. And it's not just like the things, it's the being of who we are. It's the amness, right? It has to do with, if it awakens in us, remember the innocence of the child. Children are like, oh, I know what I wanted to go do, and they go do it. They have all these dreams and these ideas, and then they go and do it. And they're like, oh, I'd like some cinnamon toast. So they go and make it. You know, it's that type of thing of being able to follow your creative spirit. And you're telling me that begets life. It turns dreams into reality. It'll be interesting to see, those of you who stick around, how these common words, how this quiet air around turns into the magic and the mystery. How it awakens peace. So next we have, oh, this is the reiteration. This is 40, the full of the cycle, like the turning of multiple generations. They're talking about restoring the keys. Interesting. Restoring the keys from the keys that were lost from previous generations. Like a lot of us, we could come through curses or lacks or poverties in the family lines, right? Almost like the demyelinization in the genetics coming down, and things becoming less and less protected, things becoming more and more exposed, you know, sensitivities, harshness, disease, sickness, trial, challenge, you know, those things that cause you to shrink back and to remove yourself. But here they're wanting to talk about something else, stepping into the immensity of your power. You can command a whole continent. And it's not about people, y'all. This is the air that surrounds you. That you are the electric source of the earth. See, electricity, this lightning, it comes from the ground. It's when the atmosphere splits, that it draws fire from the earth and it travels upward. It just happens so fast that we see it otherwise. And that awakens this new world. That awakens this placement. That awakens the setting of the table. They had me turn it upright. The setting of the table. What are we setting the table for? They're all still face down. We're just walking through this. I want to know what we're setting the table for. What are you setting the table for? Are you setting it for life? Are you setting it for your dreams? Are you setting it for looking your scope at what's coming your way? Are you setting it with her face? Look at that. Look at this. It's a quiet knowing. And it's not because she has words that fill her head, that something is filling her heart. It's filling her heart and is coming forward. It's coming forward because she wants to experience it here. You want to experience it here. Male or female, that doesn't matter. Just like this luminous warrior, man or woman. You're a luminous warrior. Here you are, this magic, stepping on forward with that divine heart, knowing yourself and allowing that feeling to come forward, to make your water wet. Not some figmented, often spiritual la-la land wet. No, joy to the world. This channel is about pragmatic, practical, right here on earth as it is in heaven. Now, today, thank you, Time Master Daddy Saturn. Bring it on. And you see his big golden crown coming all up now. He's like, woo, joy. No more black moon Lil. No more subconscious back here. You have awakened the sun of my heart. And you cause the colors to erupt. We just opened the channel, the Aquarian channel. Okay. There's a cyan, there's an aqua ray and vibration that has been occurring in my life for 25 years. And that's what we just awakened in the eyes of life. Life sees you. Life sees you. So cleanse and restore your self-detox. This just means the debris, the hanging around where you shouldn't be hanging around, being like a fly stuck on the wall, you know, in those old thoughts, those old mindsets. It's almost like if you could go inside your skull and you could just dust it off, swipe it off, wipe the windows, that type of thing. You know, like recently I noticed that the inside of my windshield had gotten so much moisture on it and had smeared around that it was blurry if lights were coming at me at night. And so it was me having to cleanse that off, not just the outside of the lens, but the inside as well. Not just the environment right around you, but this restoration, remember this beauty, allowing it to come on back. Your beautiful self still under there. Your high heart still under there. So just like cleanse these collarbones and put them back in place. You know, if you got crazy hair, flick it on out the way so you can see whatever it is. Okay, friend? So after that detox and you cleanse yourself, ooh, you know what's coming in. Boom, 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 boom. Talk about some power. We talk about this gold mine that we woke up in him, and now this like plutonic Lillian's coming on in here. Black Moon Lilith, she's all like, this is a ship of the night coming on in. Now, this is medicine, all right? This is like, she's talking about moonflower, but it's not like an earth and moonflower that she's talking about coming on in here. This has to do like with nightshade, with medicine, with those things that come on suddenly. Ooh, aconite. They come on suddenly. This is you being plugged into the environment around you. This is all of a sudden people around you get you, friend. No more hiding and shrouding and feeling cut off, left out, talked about, you know, shortchanging yourself, any of that. This is you stepping into that. Look at that reiteration. Hang on, babe. Hang on. I'm coming. Do you see that reiteration? This is like a zoom lens of what's going on here. Because you see that moon right here? This is like the close up and personal. Mr. Time Master, where you go, baby? Where's that good looking man? Let me see him. Where are you? Time Master, flat out up in the lens of his mind right here is zoomed in, seeing this go on. Talk about the power of perfection. All eyes are on you, my friend. Let's find out. Let's find out. And that brings in free your mind and the rest will follow. Be colorblind, don't be so shallow. But it got your crayon box. All the colors of the world. Number 13, liberation. Free yourself. So what I see happening here is this is the magic of inspiration. This is the unfoldment of this energy. I'm seeing these two. They're coming in stereo going on around this. This is like that pure inspiration coming on in, opening up. Things are opening up in you because of this cyan, like it's like a gong, a vibration that opened that awaken the wetness of the water that is going on inside of you. I know I'm talking mysteries, y'all, but I know magic. I do energy work. I've been doing energy work on people for, I don't know, quarter century now. And within 1 year's time, they don't recognize their lives. Their most impossible dream comes true. Things that they aren't in control of even. Like houses being given to them and being made partnership at a law firm 10 years ahead of time. That type of thing. It's the wetness of the water. Daddy Saturn. Papa's over here. Papa's over here bringing in swan energy, bringing in the outpouring of the fountain, bringing in the waterfalls of abundance. And she is still shining up. She like bling, bling, bling. Now you're talking my language, Joy. I'm like, I don't even know. This is what you're being wrapped up in. You're being wrapped up in this. This is your body being bathed with like heaven's milk, heaven's inspiration. And what I love about this is they had a teaching recently where they were telling me about, I think it might have been Virgo or Pisces, like a trick being played that's a long time ago. 13 was seen as a lucky number, not an unlucky one. And then somebody eventually said, now, are you sure? Isn't it unlucky? And so guess what? They could always have a hotel room. They could always have a seat in the movie theater because what? Nobody wants to sit in 13 because that's unlucky. That's unlucky. I don't want that. Well, here it is lucky. It is that Jupiterian energy. It is that power, that cleansing expansion coming on in, saying start fresh, start new. It is the initiation. Leading to liberation, freeing yourself to be what? Magic and divine. These are your gifts. These are your gifts coming in. Understanding the beauty of your planets, the power of your position. That's why I tell you, any videos that you're drawn to here, tune into them because you are the whole zodiac. And listen to them, not for I know a Pisces or I know an Aquarian or whatever. No, listen to it as what does this apply to this area of my chart? If you're drawn, just like this magic, like a child, if you're drawn, you want that cinnamon toast, go press the cinnamon toast reading, right? And you begin to wake up to what? What are we finding here? 11. Wax and give us fear. Ooh, talking about the birthing of magic. Things seem daunting and scary. And it's like, I don't know if I want to know what all is up in there, Joy. I don't know if I want that aconite, that nightshade, that poisonous nightshade. And I'm like, what is this one little speck? It's just one little flick of stardust. It's just coming on here, just like that. Just one little blip. That's what springs on this light. That's what awakens the cosmic egg, the golden egg, when heaven comes down to earth, when this occurs. And that's occurring now. It's occurring in you. I declare, and that, in this case, the crows are being blasted out. They're being sent off. No longer were they harbingers here to tell you, oh, well, what about this or what about that? Because these weren't real crows. They wouldn't do that. These are like people's mindsets, almost like a watchful eye, an evil eye, a side eye, a glaring eye. People looking at you and like, oh, okay. Like me, I'm colorful. And they're like, you're too colorful, Joy. Nobody will like your artwork. Joy, you need to tone it down a bit. Nobody will ever want to go out with you. I mean, I'm talking, y'all. I've been hearing this for 40 years. I'm like, are you really saying that out of your mouth to me? And yes, people, I kept turning the dial down, but that's people. I'm not talking about the person. I'm talking about whatever energy they were entertaining. Those were like the bickering crows, like caw, 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 caw. Because the crows would come and they'd clean up a battlefield of people half dead, people dead, just pecking all out, pecking the eyes out, pecking the skin off. They're called a murder of crows, right? So they clean up the dead, the old, the lost. But see, now it's been done. Remember? Where's your liberation? You cleanse. You've been covered in like this initiation of Jupiter's milk coming on in all over you. This is the Milky Way, the galaxy of life coming all over you. Look how clean and pure you are. See your golden light? This is that egg of satisfaction. This is desiring life to be unctuous and good, not because you own a this and you have a that, literally because you know yourself. And you know what you're here for. And you know how you like to live. And you know what makes you happy and the type of people you like to be around. You know, I love people who like to laugh, even if things are difficult. They find a way to have a good laugh. And I don't mean like coming up with the right joke or whatever. I mean, literally find a way to rip into a laugh, or they find a way to show compassion, or they come alongside when things are challenging and they help you lift the burden. You know, that's the energy I like because that's the same energy that I live in. Now, we express it slightly differently. It's not about following the same formula. It's just that same energy. It's that same prevalence. Well, this is being blasted out around here because this is grown. This is grown enough that it's erupting and overtaking that. and it's bringing it down. This is you coming out in that nebulous energy, because this is very nebulous, very Milky Way going on here. And that's it bringing forth, bringing into birth, bringing into fruition because of how you perceive and how you choose to see this. And what are you choosing to see? You're choosing to see 25 waning crescent resistance. I tell you, open up your hands. It's not going to let go. It is sprouting forth from your hands because your hands are connected to your heart and your mind. Your heart and your mind are on the same page. You're beginning to believe in yourself and dream. You're starting to soar in your spirit, friend. You're starting to at least soar in the dream world, whether it's daydream, night dream, in the shower dream, driving your car dream, singing your song dream. I don't know. You just feel those sparks like Miss Magic over here, right? You just feel that something kind of buzzing and humming around you, like when the lights and you're like, that's what I know. That's what I know. Because it's like, is it a sun or a moon? Is it a sun or a moon? I'm like, it's the sun moon. It's a swoon. It's a swoon. That's what we're talking about. Making you swoon at how fine you are. Coming up out of the difficulty, out of the chaos, out of that, like, that clash. That clash. This is you resurrecting the energy of the environment around you. Not having to just tolerate those difficulties anymore, but being able to reframe it. Being there telling me to turn it now. Being able to bring in the change that brings the peace. Because see, when you won't carry that charge of that energy being sent off with this, now remember, these are energies. These aren't particular people. It's the stuff that they're entertaining. That's trying to spread out into the world to be contagious like COVID. And I'd be like, let's spread some joy virus around here. Let's infect the world with joy. Let's infect it with color. Let's infect it with love and appreciation and the sheer force of life itself. So the resistance is in your heart and your mind. It's not in your hand, friend. Let it flow. Let it flow. Okay? Because that's what this shift and change. It's not just the moon. It's not just the blue moon. It's not just the Halloween energy. It's not just the All Saints Day. It is literally moving into this entire new era, and it extends well beyond the 200 years. I listened to Sadhguru today talking about how our body remembers the hair of the grandfather from a million years ago. The body line, it's showing up in our DNA, in our cells. Oh, this is lighting up now. It's like, that's what's coming to the table. That's what's coming to the table. That's what's coming into this. Where is that? We're coming into that. Can you imagine the power of our ancestry? If we begin to unlock all beyond the potential, the actual of who we are, we allow that tide to turn and to synergize into, she's saying mesh with us. Look at her. She's waking up. She's like, raw. You making my tail unfurl even at the thought. I'm bringing down more goodies from heaven. I'm bringing down the juicy stuff. Joy. Let's keep going. I just want to bless you today, friend. And that brings in another 33. That brings another creative junction coming on in. Y'all, I have a mess here, and I don't normally operate like that, but there's another 33. And then there's one somewhere else. Let me see what else is going on. Just forgive. Give me a second. Do your breathing. Do your psychic breathing right now. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, there we go. Well, there she is. I've been picking her up the whole time. Y'all, we're cooking something up. 33, 33, 33. 3 33s. That's exponential power. That's magnificent creative power coming in. That's the power of the raw life force itself, like untethered. Just like that the lightning in heaven, awakening the earth, stirring the stars in the abundance. Look at your music. When we talk about your channel, when we talk about the eye of God, when we talk about your chart and you being the whole chart, as you begin to get to know the facets of yourself instead of like, oh, Mercury retrograde, it's always going to make your technology mess up. No, it's not. Okay, a toilet is technology. My toilet was screaming and whistling and it got fixed, but the thing was what Mercury retrograde told me within the first few days is literally showed me and demonstrated the lesson of, I don't want you fiddling too much. I don't want you going to an extent making recipes or feeding yourself or even other things like that. Keep it simple for a minute. Some fruit, some cheese, some simple things. Just keep it easy for a bit, Joy. We need you to enjoy this weather and this time going on right now. What's happening here? How come I'm looking at them, y'all? Give me a second. I'm all... Okay. Once she shot that channel, I don't even know what happened. Talk about a sky that's green. These are the dreams of your heart, the world you've dreamt of. It is abundant and it's aimed right at you. The cornucopia. It's talking about things you're going to hear, okay? You're hearing this sound song is what they're calling it, the flower moon blossoming. It's again playing with the power of your hands. It's going along with this. We do a lot with our hands, y'all. What do you do with your hands? And do you touch it with love? Or is it kind of like our food? We scarf and we move on. We eat while we're driving. We eat while we're watching. We eat while we're daydreaming. We eat while we're whatever. Like the grandma chart, are you tuning in? Are you tuning into all that life affords you? That's what she's talking about here. Life is in the living. Life is in the living. And that's inspirational to yourself and to others. And that stirs up the cosmic forces around us. Let's keep going. And that makes you super attractive, baby. Look at that big old moon self. You're like big and ripe and ready. And I'm like, you got the crest of Mars coming on around behind you. Mars ain't here to hurt you. Mars said, I went retrograde to get your back, baby. And to get you back. And to bring you back from the blood and the sacrifice. To resurrect you from the dead. To wake your dreams. To shake it up. To make this fresh new abundance come on in. That you could see with big perspective and big alignment. Knowing that we are all here for you. The planets, the moon, the stars, look at that. Remember, just with one little fleck, one little bit of Jupiter's dust, one little bit of Mars having your back. They said that's all you even need. And they said, but we come to abound with you. We have come to give you our formulas for life. Just like Daddy Saturn, wherever he... Talk about that formula, talking about the very Saturn, the order and the way things that can work, but to bend and to play with them, to begin to divine with them. And that's bringing in the sacredness of the owl, the sacred silence, that gentle inner knowing that goes back to the goldness in your belly. It goes back to this, that this knowing in our belly wasn't just like, doom's coming, something around the corner, I need to hide and protect myself. No, it also knew where to go graze. It could feel for water. It could, sense the winds. It could find food source. It could do different things like that. It understood. I mean, how else have we created calendars? How they named all the stars. And they actually agree, y'all. That's this. The sound of the silence coming on in is opening and operating the chambers. And it's very much in alignment with the Time Master. This is your life. That's what they're telling me. This is the life you've lived. All the days you've lived up till now. They're wanting to touch the energy of it. They're wanting to... touch your DNA, your spiritual DNA. They're wanting to awaken and bring you in, to touch your spiritual DNA into the fountain of youth, the fountain of life, into this resurrection power, into this turning of the tides, and into the flow. And they don't just want to do it externally. Remember that washing of the inside, the mind. They want to do it inside of you. Even in your brain cells, in your memory, in your cellular memory, in your muscle memory, in your, like Sadhguru said, your genetic memory. And you're having me turn it. Why are you doing that? These come in. So that brings in the soul. Divine union. The butterfly. This is the opening of that gate. Of the cyan. Because the cyan is like hidden. It's almost imperceptible. It is like, remember that speck and that dot that we were talking about here? It's the entryway. It's that one little speck, like the one scale missing on the dragon, where you can penetrate. That is where you penetrate and you go in, and that's when you enter in from, you exit reality and you enter truth. Because truth should dictate your reality, not your reality dictating your truth. Remember the scope of her being able to see and to shape how she sees things? They having me touch them a lot, y'all. That scope, that lens, that perception. This being able to enter in so that you step into your truth, and not just your truth, the unctuousness of your truth, that goldness truth, this beautiful balance, this milk and honey, and to see the sweet, delicious creation that you are. I don't care if you're a man and you turn in. I'm talking about you being sweet and delicious. Honey pot, honey child, honey this, honey that, honey star, honey cosmos, honey love. I don't know, all that honey dripping sweet and wet. The beautiful, magical creation that you are. And that opens up the keys of the kingdom. The keys of heaven here on earth, into the life, into the abundance, into the profusion of the wildflowers. They've been talking about the wildflowers for a minute, often very silent with me. They need no care. There's nothing on your part to do about this except take notice. Delight yourself in the gifts that life affords you. The free gifts. And it doesn't mean don't earn your money. That money's not good. No. They're saying and. Not or. And. And yellow and blue make green. Okay, beauty in you make fabulous, make the heartbeat of life go boom boom. Pachamama. Okay, like, let me turn it back around. Sorry, girl. But when Pachamama and the time master begin to look at each other, some stuff's gonna be cooking up. Some things are gonna be opening up. Some liberation's gonna be occurring. I can't even tell you anymore. You can figure that out for yourself. You're mature. You know what's up. And then we have, okay, so these are coming in and coming just like the change, the peace and change did. The peace and the change did. I appreciate y'all waiting with me because this is not my typical style. But again, this isn't about me, right? This is about the truth coming on in. So this is now turned. And as this is here, and the power of change is awakening your peace. It is awakening that imagining. Because these two, look at them. This is her, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This is you as an adult. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, right? This is you. You can imagine. You're brilliant. You're smart. That's why you're here. You're colorful. You're creative. You're magnificent. So this is you, and the stars begin to align. And you begin to realize that magic that was around you and inside you is now inside you and around you. The power of your mind. Remember that one speck that it penetrates through, right? That it penetrates through. And this becomes you, your connection with the wildflowers. This perspective that you have that like wets the water and turns the time. It makes you not just productive, like being able to check things off a list, but like abundant because of the way you know how to dance with time. The hunter's showing up again. That's been the chase. That's the thing we all desire, is to do that dance with time. We have a daddy Saturn just went, baby, I love you wherever you are. I don't know where he went. Oh, here. The meeting of the minds. And not so much of what they're talking about, the triple 33 is that divining of the creative power. It is very Metatron, very much the aligning of all these shapes, these stars, this owl, this wisdom. Remember, these days of your life have been coming together, divining for this time. Not just in your lifetime, lifetimes. I didn't seek out that teaching about the million years ago. That's how long this has been traveling through to get to this moment, to allow your stream to blossom. Your laser precision, you're hitting the mark, you're making the mark. Not for the accolades, the aplomb, none of that. Literally, because it is the truth of your heart. It greens you up. It is the life. It is the change this world needs. It is the change that heaven has sought. And they banked everything on you. That even through it all, they knew, they believed, they put their belief that you would reach this state. You would no longer see the state of the earth and the things going on around you and have to work through the consciousness of your mind, but you would begin to open. You would begin to celebrate something beyond your being. You would step into this conjugation, this connection, this synergy with life itself, with the force of the planets, with the energy of all going around you, and you would awaken them. This is you in your radiance. This is you in the eye of God. That's you tuning the streams of your channel and calling it to life, calling it into being. See you sitting, oh, it's good. When my stomach starts growling, that means something's up. And that's you provoking the earth. What you gonna do? What you gonna lead, guide, protect? What you gonna stir up? What's the bridge? What are your ideas? What are you bringing together? Who are you bringing together? Divine playfulness. You're bringing together some Piscean energy. You're awakening some Neptune, that divine connection with things that are beyond the realm of our perception, beyond what we can see, the seeing of the heart. You remember this, the divine child. The divine child. This is you, friend. Remember. Wash your mind clean and remember. Remember this feeling, not just a thought, a feeling. Remember this feeling of utter satisfaction, of being so self-assured, so connected. Remember. And then you land here on earth. They're going to untether your soul. But you've been a pillar for a long time. You've had to be strong for a very long time. When everybody else was having fun, you were the one more serious. And maybe you did have fun, but it wasn't like giggling all the way through your belly. There was some seriousness going on there. You're like, let go, let loose, let it flow. I don't know how you expect me to do that, Joy. You know, and that's that thing. You're more ready than you think. You're more ready than you know. Open your heart and your mind to yourself, friend. I don't know what I gotta say. Maybe nothing. Maybe nothing was sitting over here. Not a swore. Talk about curiosity. Follow your curiosity. I hope this stirred up your curiosity. I hope it revived that beauty, that life in you. That your moon and your sun align and no more projection, but you see clearly that pinpoint of wisdom, that laser focus, that understanding and valuing of time and valuing of your time, valuing of yourself. Not because of what you can do and what you can accomplish and check off and multitask or even singularly task or any of that. It's that divine synergy of life that the world spins around in adoration of you. The planets, the stars, the Milky Way, the cosmos, me, Pachamama, Papa Time, where is he, Mr. Yes. Look at that hunk of gorgeousness. We golden up his mind, y'all. We wet his water. Talk about wetting your whistle. Wet your whistle, friend. I hope you made it all the way through this with me. I'm excited to sit on the other side and unfold the mystery. This is big, y'all. Bigger than 200 years. I pray it go down to your cellular memory and you be transformed in your goldenest self. And that satisfaction, fulfillment come to you. I love you. Dig out that impossible dream. Bring it forward. Together we're better. Leave your comments down below and let me know what is going on with you, friend. I love you. Stop by again real soon. Bye.